Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and I just wanted to say thank you all so much. I was not expecting to have such a positive reception on the last video. I think as of right now we're sitting at about 2,000 views, and that is mind-blowing. Like, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my video and like leave all your nice comments. Thank you all so much. You may notice some changes. The lighting is a little bit better because I opened my curtains, and the audio is actually a little bit better because I added a denoise filter to the audio. And yeah, the last video I was a little bit lazy, didn't feel like doing the whole rigmarole of setting it up, so I just kind of went with my phone microphone, and I still ended up doing that. So I guess since you like these videos so much, I might as well put a little bit more effort into them, and I'll continue doing them. So today I'm going to be talking about something that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is the Sony Walkman. And I'm not talking about the cassette players. I'm not talking about the new fancy hi-fi players that they're putting out these days. I'm talking about these little weirdos. The stuff that they were putting out around the mid to late 2000s. And it's like, if you were anything like me, you were probably begging your mom, like up and down, asking for an iPod for Christmas or your birthday, and she was probably like, that's too expensive. And then come Christmas Day, you unbox one of these guys, and you were actually probably pretty happy with it if you got one of these. They were actually really simple to use. Just drag and drop your MP3s and it just works. And these things were actually decently feature rich. Like, they could do video, like they could do like pictures, and they even had FM radio. Like, you don't see any iPods with FM radio. I actually used the FM radio quite a lot back when I was a kid. This actually wasn't the original one that I had back in, I want to say 2008. I was really young when I got my first Walkman. My first Walkman actually looked a little bit something like this, but it had like an identical firmware to this. And because I was a dumb little idiot child, I broke my nice things, just because I was stupid. I didn't do it on purpose. And my mom, bless her heart, she actually she got me another one for Christmas, and it looked a bit more like this. This also isn't the original one because I once again broke my things. I bought this one on eBay, and I bought it specifically for one purpose, but we'll get back to that later. I thought this one was defective for a little bit, and I come to find out that M4A has come to bite me in the rear once again. Yeah, these things do not play well with M4A files. It would behoove you to just convert your stuff to MP3s and it'll work perfectly fine. I did not know that. I ended up buying another one on eBay. This one actually ended up being in much nicer condition. Like, this one's basically brand new. The last person barely used this thing. It's in wonderful condition. But the reason I bought this one once again with this specific firmware is because of a little thing called Senz channels. And Senz channels are really, really cool in my opinion. If you are familiar with the Sony ecosystem, particularly if you had a PSP back in the day, you probably know what Senz channels are. And that's if you load up your music onto it, your player will scan your music for I guess like a certain BPM, a certain loudness, a certain texture to the sound. And then it will categorize your music into little, like, categories here, into, like, little moods that you can, like toggle between, and, like, depending on what kind of mood you're feeling from your music. And these are so stinking cool. I love these so much. I used these so much back in the day. And yeah, that's kind of the reason I got these. It's like, I wish more things had technology like this. It's probably really simple technology. It just kind of scans like waveforms based on certain parameters and all that. And like, yeah, you don't really see too much of that, especially in the age of like AI and all that. You'd think like more things would come about where it would like sort your Spotify library into playlists based off of moods and all that. I'm sure that does exist, but it's like I'm too lazy to put more effort into looking into it. But Senz channels aside, how does it sound? Does it sound any better than an iPod? Does it sound any worse than an iPod? Well, to find out, we will actually be stacking it up against the SanDisk. And I spent some time with it after I recorded that video, and I really ended up falling in love with how it sounded. Like, it's just so crisp and clear, and it's just like, it's bewildering, like how much of a little sleeper this thing was. Like, it just sounds so good. And I think, honestly, it is the new standard to which other MP3 players will be held. Like, nothing else has an excuse to just not sound this good. So, we're going to break out the Kiwi Ears Quintets, and we're going to test out how this sounds with none other than Collier Jepsen's Shooting Star. I'm going to get a control test based off of the SanDisk. All right, it sounds delightful, as expected. And now moving on to the Walkman. And let it be known that I don't use any EQ on these things. Yeah, let me just make sure no EQ is on. Doesn't sound too bad. It actually sounds pretty standard, no EQ, but there is something a little bit more like blunted about it. It almost sounds a little bit more muddy, kind of down in like the lower range, just kind of, there's just a bit of a bass bloat to it. It doesn't really take away from it too much. It's not too bad, like I remember it being, but the last time I sat down with these was probably a couple of years ago, and that's back when my ears were just like really trained on like rock EQ. Like, I was a filthy rock EQ user. Like, my ears only enjoyed that really, really horrible, bassy, just like sharp highs, like sound. And ever since I kind of started getting more into like hi-fi players like the Estelle and Kern AK-70, I've trained my ears off of EQ, and I can actually kind of hear the differences between different DACs. And it's like, it's very bizarre to hear like how differently DAC chips are tuned. Like, people love to tell you that oh, all DACs sound the same, like they all just have like a flat response. No, they do not. Like this, the Apple dongle, this, the iPod Touch, and this FIO DAC right here, they all sound wildly different from one another. Like, all with different like textures and frequency responses. And no two DAC chips are made equally. But I digress. This actually sounds pretty good. Yep, not bad. Solid little device. And all in all, the Sony Walkman, like, it was kind of weird. Like, everyone just kind of bought iPods anyway, so I didn't really know anybody else that had one of these. Like, the only other person I knew to have a Sony Walkman was my sister. But like, these things, like, they were a huge part of my childhood, and they really helped develop my fascination for quirky little portable audio players. So yeah, that's the Sony Walkman, at least the awkward phase between the cassettes and the hi-fi players. And yeah, I really have like a fondness for these things. Like, even though I don't really use these, like, they're just such neat little oddities to have in my collection. And yeah, so that just about wraps it up. Like, once again, thank you so much for watching. Like, I'd be happy if this video even got like a quarter as much attention as the first one got. And yeah, if you guys want to continue seeing videos like this, by all means, keep watching. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye.